What's going on, everybody? My name is Baloo and welcome to the jungle. This is the channel where we take a very simple approach to technical analysis. We look at the price in the context of volume using the Wyckoff method. If that is something that interests you, then why don't you hit the subscribe button? I do this every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you haven't already done so, go ahead and check out VIP. If you follow the links below to Baloo's Crypto Jungle, you can join our community and join VIP and up your trading game. So in today's video, I want to talk about Bitcoin. Market's having a little bit of a down move. It's really not that much. So my apologies for blatantly clickbaiting you on this dump. But you know, this is the ebb and flow of the crypto market. And if you are new and this frightens you, I recommend that you leave. The door is that way because this is nothing. This is a very normal ebb and flow to this market. So we'll talk about Bitcoin, we'll talk about Ethereum, and then we'll open it up to the community and take a look at some of the charts that you guys are most interested in. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and dive right into it. So we are here on Bitcoin on the daily. And I've had this trend line drawn for a while now. We've been observing the movements of this ascending channel inside of Bitcoin. We have a tentative target up at around $74,000, 75. It'll probably overshoot a little bit, but that's the target that I was able to determine using point and figure charts. So that's our next kind of macro target here. And we broke out of this descending channel here, and we're testing it. You know, it's currently a 3% move to the downside on Bitcoin, but I will kind of say altcoins have definitely overreacted to this move. Okay, this downside move in Bitcoin has definitely resulted in an over exuberant reaction to a lot of the altcoins. However, some of the stronger plays inside of the ecosystem have bounced back aggressively, and some are already back in profit. So these shakeouts occur. You can call them liquidity hunting. You can call them, you know, a supply test. Whatever you want to call it is fine. But you know, these tests are essential because without a test, you can't get the big money in. Big money needs to know that levels have been tested and that they've held. So this level that we're testing right now is on top of an area of support. So we tested it once. We've tested it again with a wick coming through, and we're closing candles above this line that I have tentatively drawn here. So does it mean that we can't break through? Of course not. We can obviously break through to the downside, but you know, what I'm seeing right now is just it's a demand test. So we've come down and we're testing the demand. The demand is holding us up. You can clearly see the demand stepping in to defend that level, and you know, buy the dip, man. It's not much of a dip, but if you've been sitting on the sidelines kind of waiting for a trade, you know, it's not a terrible dip. You could definitely make some money, you know, purchasing here because we're on support. Buy support, sell resistance. So nothing really to worry about. I'm shocked at how many people are kind of panicking about this move. You know, and it probably has to do with the altcoins. So a lot of the altcoins like Alpha down 11% today, BLZ down 11%. It was down like 15%, Band down 13%. So yeah, there's definitely blood in the altcoin space. But Bitcoin is the barometer of market health, and there's nothing to be worried about, in my opinion, when looking at this Bitcoin chart. If we take a look at the RSI here, you know, we're just resting down on the bullish control zone down at about 40 on the RSI is kind of your bullish control zone. So do we bounce off of here? Only time will tell. A lot of people talking still about the bearish divergence. Now, what they fail to kind of understand with the bearish divergence, you know, when we look at the RSI here, you can see that there's a divergence of the highs against the highs of Bitcoin. But there's also a bullish divergence. There is a bullish divergence here as well. We are making lower lows. There's a low and a lower low. So that's a bullish divergence. When you have a bullish divergence and a bearish divergence, what does it mean? It means nothing. It means we're in a squeeze. So maybe this RSI comes down to this level right here on the daily, which is right around the 40 on the daily, and then we move up and we're just waiting for a break. So this RSI is just in a squeeze right now. If we can break this squeeze, get above the 60 line, I think we'll be trending again. It's just, yeah, there's nothing really to worry about. Just wait for crypto Twitter to give some bullish news on Bitcoin, as they always seem to do when people lose hope. So that's pretty much it on Bitcoin. Let's take a look at what's going on with Ethereum. I entered an Ethereum call option 2 days ago at around $1,800. So this contract is still technically in the money. But yeah, again, we're testing. Where are we testing? We're testing the the high of the previous buyer's climax. There's nothing to worry about. This is needed, this is expected, and this is perfectly fine, just fine. We could probably draw an area of support. Maybe we come back down. This is our mini sign of strength, and we come down to test this level again and head back up. But honestly, I don't think it will. I think by the daily close of today's candle, we will probably be above this support line, somewhere around $2,000 on Ethereum. And that will be the demand test that was required to convince the market that more upside is probable. Okay, so I did get a question in the comment section regarding hedging, or oh yes, it was in regards to how some YouTubers say that they are not going to sell their crypto and that they are just going to open up futures contracts against the underlying asset. And I was asked, what is the benefit of doing that? So, what you need to realize is Bitcoin is arguably one of the hardest assets that's ever existed. So, and the price appreciation on that asset is huge. So there are a few things that you can do that can kind of help you avoid a taxable event. Now, depending on the country you're at, you're going to have to talk with your tax advisor on different strategies that you can employ. But for some countries like Canada, where I'm from, and what tax residency I fall under, when you only really take a capital gains when you sell. So I'm not sure about other countries, but as long as I don't sell the Bitcoin, I don't need to pay capital gains on that Bitcoin. So if my plan is long and I want to, not only exist in this ecosystem cycle to cycle, but, over the duration of many cycles, then what you can do with futures contracts is you can actually reduce the volatility to the downside. So for example, here's the market cycle peak of the previous cycle, and we had from the top to the bottom, we had an 84% drawdown. So that's kind of uncomfortable, but what you can do instead is you can reduce the blow, limit the exposure by hedging your stack of Bitcoin. Like if you hold Bitcoin off the exchange, you're not going to sell it, it's on a ledger and it's safe. What you can do is you can actually transfer over some Bitcoin to an exchange like FTX. I highly recommend that you open an FTX account. And you can open up 1x short contracts. Now you need to make sure that the peak is in, because a 1x short, if it doubles and it's isolated, you can liquidate that position. But what you would do, let's say, you believe the top is in, and then you get that recovery rally and it starts to fail. Maybe you open a 1x short against 20% of your Bitcoin holding. So what that effectively does is it reduces the 80% drawdown by 20%. So I did not do the figures. I did not calculate this ahead of time like a responsible YouTuber would have done. But 20% of 80, is 16%. So instead of a 85% drawdown, you now only have to experience a 70% drawdown. So, and that's just with one short contract with 20% of your Bitcoin holding. So if you entered multiple contracts at 1x short leverage, you effectively kind of reduce the volatility to the downside. Having to experience an 85% drawdown is probably pretty uncomfortable and will make you question a lot of things. However, if you hedged it and you only experienced a 50% drawdown, well, maybe that's a lot more easy to understand or stomach. Maybe that's just easier to stomach, so that you don't have to sell your underlying asset, because it is an asset. It is, the key to building wealth is accumulating assets over time. Throughout your lifetime, you should be accumulating assets. Bitcoin, arguably one of the best asset classes in the world. People don't want to sell it. They don't want to sell it. People that are on the other side and, they're going full crypto, they don't want to sell their Bitcoin. So that's just kind of, how you can use futures contracts to kind of pay for the rights to a decreased volatility event to the downside, because you can cover your costs on the way down and lock in certain price targets. So food for thought. It's very common for the new investor to be like, well, why don't I just sell the top and then buy the bottom? Easier said than done. Honestly, easier said than done. It's very hard to nail the top. It's very hard to nail the bottom. And if you get left behind and end up buying higher, well, your plan sucks. So, understanding that you can enter these shorts, and if the shorts don't work out, you can kind of, exit gracefully without a loss. You're kind of just locking in the profit. And then when it goes down, you just move it to break even. There's strategies with hedging. Hedging is a very important part to kind of learn and understand how to leverage effectively. A lot of people think that the leveraged exchanges are for those people that don't have a lot of money. It couldn't be further from the truth. The leveraged exchanges and the futures exchanges are for people that have a ton of money, and they leverage those things in very different ways. They 1 or 2x long, or they 1x short. There's many strategies that they use, and it's more so of a tool to trade against your main holding. So food for thought. Okay, so catching up with the chat here, we have Esoteric Chaos has a 3x leverage position at 60K, small position. Should I cut my losses now? Well, if it's a small position, a couple things on that. So first of all, you have to have an upside plan and a downside plan. So if you didn't already have your downside plan as to when you were going to cut it, then it's hard for me to kind of help you to understand where to cut a loss. You should already have that figured out. Now 60K, so where were you longed 60K right here on this up move. You kind of longed under resistance, which is fine. Nobody's going to penalize you for that. But, when you say a small position, if it's really a small position, I feel like we're at support here. Now, nothing's financial advice, and you do have to submit to the fact that you do not know a direction. But we're only 5% down from, well, actually from the $60,000, we're approximately... we're 6% down, so you've still got 27% left to be able to handle that volatility. You can average down, which is not usually recommended, but we are in a bull market, or you can just hold it. I mean, if you say it's a small position, maybe you're not kind of against the thought of liquidation. The key takeaway here is just, have a plan both ways. If you're going to take a position, know where you're going to take profit, and know where you're going to call it, and if you are going to call it at all. If you tell yourself, I'll ride this to liquidation, that's your plan. And sometimes I do that. And your risk is kind of calculated on the position size. So if it were me and it was a small position and I would be okay with a liquidation. Again, you have to make your own decisions, but if it was me and it was a small position where we are right now, given that I have another 20% plus of volatility tolerance, I would just leave it. Okay. Yeah, Jose saying, just don't leverage. The gains are already great, just holding. Yeah, going back to responsible uses of leverage, you can leverage on dip days, and you can cover positions with 1x short on bearish kind of formations. But he's right. These spot markets, you shouldn't feel as though you can't make money without leverage. You can make money without leverage. Anytime you incorporate leverage, you are inviting a whole bunch of risk, and that risk can be okay, and that risk can help you you know, get ahead faster, but it comes with risk. Nobody can ever take your Bitcoin if you're holding spot. Nobody can ever take your Ethereum if you're holding spot. Yeah, it may be worth a little bit less, but nobody can ever take it from you. So there's advantages to these spot markets. And 95% of your position is spot. That's fine. You know, that's if the other 5% is in this long, that's a pretty heavily weighted long, in my opinion. But you're at 3x, so you've got, you know, 33% volatility tolerance. If we have a drawdown in Bitcoin by 33%, not many people are going to walk away with that being a successful trader. So you would just be in the pool with everybody else who got wrecked, but you got wrecked on 3x leverage, which is a lot more responsible than a lot of other people. Hey, what's up, Shroomer? How's it going? Okay. Just played with leverage when it looked to be breaking out at 60K. With leverage, I try not to buy breakouts. Spot buys are great for breakouts. Dips are great for leverage. We have sound. Yo, XRP thoughts? I mean, I've covered XRP. I don't want it to be a regular occurrence. You guys know I hate XRP. But I'm also impartial, and it's not up to me. It's not up to me to make decisions. It's up to the market to make decisions. XRP had a very nice move. We had this set up in the stream. We talked about how if we could get a break above this level of this resistance, we would probably get a nice sign of strength. We did get a very nice sign of strength. So now I'm going to open up this area of support to somewhere around this level right here. And we're going to want to land on support before you want to take a bullish position on XRP. This is the supply is dried up and demand is in control. So XRP is looking really healthy. There's nothing wrong with this chart at all. This is a breakout. We have a confirmed breakout. We just need to come down and rest on support. So when that happens, I don't know, but look for support anywhere around, you know, 80 cents. 80 cents would be a nice psychological support. 85 to 75 cents would be good support for XRP. And when it hits there, it's not just going to bounce off there. So wait for the support to develop, wait for some candle body closes on the daily, wait for that turnaround. Okay. Crypto Tour, love how your analysis helps to calm the emotions. It's you got to zoom out. And you can calm your emotions by just manipulating your chart. Like if you're looking at your charts like this, you are going to have very high emotions. Whereas if you just kind of, you know, flatten your chart out, oh, okay, XRP had a break. Cool. I'm going to come down, buy support. You know, how you're looking at it will help you. You know, if it looks scary, shrink it down. Okay. What is the average hold time for a futures perpetual contract? I think that entirely depends on the leverage that you're using. If you're okay with paying funding, you can hold a 1x leverage just as long as you can hold a spot leverage. When you get into 2x, you know, now you're kind of playing the bigger swings and you don't want to experience a 50% drawdown, so you might be more aggressive. And then once you're ticking up into the 5, the 7, and the 10s, those are your day trades. Those are your quick unidirectional plays. You know, you try and get in at the start of a rally and you cut it off at the conclusion of the rally. So whether that is a day trade or whether that is an intraday trade, you know, I don't know, but usually when you're in the higher leverage stuff, you have to monitor it. So which means it falls under the category of a day trade because this market doesn't close. So, you know, you can use higher leverage when you're in the equities markets because when the end of the day comes, it's the end of the day. So nobody's able to trade. There is like OTC and stuff in the background, but for the most part, nobody's able to trade. So you can pick up where you left off and everybody's kind of in the same position. You go to bed with a day trade plan in crypto, you wake up and your plan is ruined. So keep that in mind. Who are the whales? Is it a person for each whale or a group, or who exactly are they and how do they deal? So a whale, by on-chain data and on-chain kind of, you know, consensus is any holder of more than 1,000 Bitcoin. So any individual who holds more than 1,000 Bitcoin can make waves in this market. They cannot enter trades without being unnoticed. They cannot exit trades without being noticed. Their footprints are very trackable using the volume. You can see anytime, the volume is either the composite operator, which is like market consensus, or it is literally just the movements of a whale. So, the large institutional players, the large high net worth individuals, those are the whales, and they're anybody. They're mining farms. They're just Joe Schmo down the corner. There's lots of different categories that those whales fall under. There are whales that became whales by accident. There's whales that became whales very much so on purpose. Yeah, Shroomer saying, can't believe the pullback on some of these alts. Yeah, it's very interesting. The alts just freaked out. And I don't know if that's just because we're in retail mode. So expect the volatility. I've been saying this for a while. We got to expect the volatility to increase, which is why, for the most part, I'm not really touching contracts right now, because the volatility tolerance you need to hold a futures contract is intense. It's almost not even worth it. Like I hold a few contracts at 2x leverage right now, and there are times where that is not enough. Altcoins are very volatile. They are a retail-driven sector inside of this ecosystem, and as more and more retail comes in, especially when they come from equities, with apps like Robinhood and what's that other one with the bull? Webull and stuff like that, they're getting exposure to cryptocurrency, and then they start seeing all these other coins that they don't have access to. So they come in here and they're just not used to that kind of volatility. So their strategies, their methods of protecting capital that these markets won't work here. So cut losses quicker. And in crypto, you need to have a higher volatility tolerance. And so when people bail, they bail, and these cryptos, these altcoins and stuff, they don't fare well in those types of conditions. It's like a 2%, 3% move in Bitcoin equals 30% move down in altcoins now, apparently. Okay. XRP is such a shit coin. Time will tell. I think it's a shit coin because I kind of fell in love with cryptocurrency because of the decentralized applications that it can do to our life. But I'm seeing a lot of protocols, and I'm looking at a lot of demand, and I can see that there are companies that are going to do very well decentralized, and then there's other companies that are never going to decentralize. So those companies that are never going to decentralize, they still might want to use blockchain technology, so they might use a centralized blockchain. XRP, XLM, I'm sure there's others that these companies can use to kind of get the advantages of the blockchain without having to divulge sensitive data or trade secrets or whatever, like not having the information publicly accessible on a public ledger. Blockchain, the stuff that I'm excited about is the decentralized stuff. I think that decentralization is going to revolutionize a lot of aspects of our life. So that's what excites me. That's what I think of in terms of innovation in the future. XRP doesn't do that for me. So, I'm not saying it's not valuable. I'm not saying that enterprises won't use it. Just I won't use it. Or I don't plan on using it. It might be force-fed to me one day. Any sights into the pi cycle indicator? Looking to cross, showing possible top of the market. The pi cycle was invented this cycle. I don't like the pi cycle. I just don't care. I really don't care about the pi cycle indicator. We made it this cycle. People just made the freaking pi cycle. Let's throw it up for those who are unfamiliar. But this is something that was created this cycle. So how good, we don't have enough data on this thing. They got some moving averages to line up with the tops, and they're like, okay, well, these moving averages, when the tops line up, we have a drawback. I don't know. I just don't know. I just don't know. I'm not convinced. I think that it's kind of a shitty data set. We don't have enough data. There's not enough cycles. This cycle is different given the institutional interest. There's other factors at play. You know, it's very easy to do hindsight analysis, but it's not it doesn't give you the ability or the permission to predict the future. We can't predict the future. But let me just show you the freaking pi cycle. There might be some scares with it, you know, because people are using it. So people are going to think, here it is. That's it. The pi cycle. We're done. And this may cross soon. And when it crosses, people are going to freak out and say that's the top. And you know what's going to happen? They're all going to get shaken out. And the market is going to move on without them. That's my prediction. I think this baby is going to cross. We're probably going to get one more upthrust. Pi cycle is going to cross. They're going to call it a top at $74,000. We might have a 30 to 40% drawdown, and then we will consolidate for possibly a month or two, maybe longer. I don't know. We can draw comparisons to previous cycles, although I don't typically do that. Every cycle is unique in my opinion. It will rhyme, but it's not going to match. So I think that this may cross. And it may scare some people, and it's going to shake out a lot of the noobs and a lot of the people that that think that this is actually going to be able to call the top. And we'll have a minor correction, and we'll carry on to $325,000. So that's what I think. We'll leave you suckers behind. Thoughts on acro? I don't know, not actively looking at acro. Okay, so yeah, we were talking about this one in a previous stream, clearly. And we had this area, so I had this drawn as resistance. We've broken out of the resistance, and we're starting to have demand take over. A lot of supply came in right here. So is this absorption? We're gonna have to wait and see. We wanna get a breakout, a nice clean breakout above this local high right here. If we can do that, right now it's resistance, and we can see a ton of supply right here. If we can get a clean break above that, we can call this absorption, which is good. We can kind of get that confirmation that a lot of the sellers are gone. But as far as taking a position right now, we're underneath resistance. So if you took it on support, congratulations, very good job. We called this, you know, breakout. It'll come back down to support. If you got the support, great. At this point, you're going to have to wait for a solid breakout. So not something that I'm looking to get into right now, but yeah, just yeah, if you're actively trading this and actively looking at this, you can even set alarms and stuff. So set an alarm for the and catch the breakout. But yeah, injective protocol, what's going on, Buzz? You still holding that thing? I think that's one of your better trades, if I am not mistaken. And Buzz is in the VIP. He's been killing it on the early cycle stuff. He's in blockchain, so he's kind of got a little bit of an insider's look into a lot of these protocols. And man, the beginning of the cycle, he was just calling all of these really good protocols, and INJ was one of them. It's looking like a pretty healthy reaccumulation here, Buzz. So you know, it's coming from markup, and it's trading sideways in a very healthy way. You know, I'm not seeing anything that's indicating too much supply entering. Let's go to the daily on this one, actually. Yeah, let's open it up a little bit. If you guys are interested in joining VIP and checking out all these wicked coins and calls and profitable setups, as well as learning how to manage your portfolio and educating yourself inside of this crazy ecosystem we call cryptocurrency, then follow the links down below and we'll see you in the jungle. Okay, so yeah, Buzz, it's looking good. You know, we had this breakdown. We may have to come down for one more test. I don't think that this is a very clear jump across the creek. We might have to test a little bit longer here. So Injectives has had kind of a very large move up. If we zoom out, it's had quite a lot of markup, and there is some rotation occurring in other assets. Man, you were in this thing so early. I can't, like, correct me if I'm, where did you originally buy this one? You were down in like a buck. You were somewhere around $1. So you've done very well on this one. But yeah, it's had a huge run, 2,400%. So it's just trading sideways right now. There's nothing showing me distribution just yet. So we haven't had an up thrust. We haven't failed an up thrust. We haven't tried to rally and had that rejection. We could just be waiting for some of the EMAs to kind of catch up. It's just consolidating. It's just consolidating. Low volume. It's looking good. The fundamentals are strong. So, you know, it's looking good. Nothing to worry about. Mishroomer, Pi Cycle is garbage. I agree. Frontier is holding well. Arco is breaking as we speak. Get on it. Finally able to catch your stream live. Dot had a clean break out a couple days ago and seems to be testing the support now. Would you mind taking a look at Dot? Yeah, Dot is trying to break out. It's having it's slow with Dot. Yeah, I came down and tested here. Yeah, this is looking nice. Nice kind of up thrust into a spring type action. This is beautiful. So this is the Wyckoff method, fellas. Ladies and gentlemen. We just observe a trading range and try to determine strength based on the volume and the price candle characteristics, and look for this sign of strength. So we had a break at the bottom, got bought back in, broke the top, making a higher high, came down and test. We're going to want our daily close to close above $40. If we can get a close above 40, I think that Dot could be primed for a move. If this does fail, look for support somewhere down at 30. So there is quite a bit of a spread on Dot. So, you know, keep an eye out for that. You can campaign into this position, wait for a breakout. But overall, the structure looks pretty good, in my opinion. Worst case scenario would be a move down to 20, but we don't even need to talk about bearish stuff like that right now because there's nothing showing us anything bearish in the charts. We're just showing a healthy consolidation. KCS USD. KCS USD. Thanks for the follow, Bioxed. Oh, it's KuCoin. KuCoin shares. Nice. So, you know, BNB is really kind of changed the game a little bit on what these exchange tokens are capable of. With the Binance Smart Chain, I expect a lot of these other exchanges to kind of compete in that same sort of arena. So mandating that the gas is the currency, is the exchange token, it's a very brilliant way to drive demand. So currently in markup, we have this large reaccumulation going on here. So let's kind of draw a few lines on this. We'll just, this is a huge reaccumulation here. Yeah, something like that I think is better. A ton of time in the oversold condition on this one. It's almost two kind of trading ranges here. We had an upper range and then we really collapsed down. The formation of this is kind of all over the map. I would like to see a pullback. There's nothing clear on this one as far as strength. I mean, we have bullish sentiment in the space, and that may be where the strength is coming from. Now, this is kind of something that doesn't really make sense because we're already so far from the top. But, you know, if we can break above 20, I think that that would be, you know, a good sign of strength to show a continuation, and it would be much safer to buy a drawdown at that point, buy that pullback at that dip. But if we dip in here, that could also be good as well. We haven't really tested too much of the support. We can draw a support level back here, although it's really weak. It's not a very good support line, but we can draw it regardless. It's not much to it. If you can get a drawdown here, it's not likely that that occurs. We have another one over at this peak right here that's also weak. Nothing's super strong here as far as the support that's been built. So, you know, we want to buy support, but all the support looks pretty weak. It's not a clear buy. It's not a clear buy. I think there's better opportunities inside of this space, but yeah, you could buy spot and see what happens. It's currently trending in the right direction. I wouldn't go heavy on this setup. It's not clean enough of a setup for me to have conviction It's not to say that I don't think that it can go up. It's just that I think that this is not the type of setup that I look for. There's just not enough support level to show me clearly that there's been enough support built. So unless we get a really big retracement down to this level here, I think that I would be apprehensive with heavy positions on this asset. Okay, so DGB, absorption of supply means that there was very high supply, but demand was bigger. It means that there was a large candle of volume that we are interpreting as supply because it pushed the price down. So, and what that means is supply came in and it rammed the price down. Now, what happens after that will tell you if it was absorption. So if absorption is occurring, it means that demand is in control. So we reach a level of resistance, the market reacts, and they try to squish the price down. So it squishes the price down, and then we continue to climb because demand is in control. That's showing you that all the people willing to sell at that resistance got the opportunity to sell, and they're gone. They've been absorbed by the demand. So it's basically just kind of the final shakeouts of those people willing to sell, and then they sell and then they're gone. And when they're gone, that there's less selling pressure and we can continue to the upside. Yeah, we can take a look at Cardano. Cardano's another one that's kind of, it's do or die for Cardano. Last I looked, we've been battling this area here. It's looking, you know, we called it, we don't try and front run a bearish idea. We just don't. So we're not going to try and say that this is bearish premature, but we need to make up our freaking mind with Cardano here. It needs to either go up or it has to go down. And I know that that sounds silly, but let me kind of explain what I'm talking about when I say stuff like that. Trend analysis is really important. You need to understand that trends are going to be your bias. When we are in an uptrend, your bias is that the setup is bullish. And you need to interpret the price candles and interpret the volume to the bullish side. Even if it looks really bearish, you have to convince yourself that it's a bullish setup when we're in an uptrend. And you are not in a downtrend until your bullish idea becomes invalidated. And that's very important because if you'll see bearish structures form and then boom, takes off. That happened to me actually just the other day with block stacks. I sold block stacks at $1.20. 2 days later, it went to $2.20. So it happens. You have these bearish structures and you kind of need to go with the trend. But so when we're looking at the trend here, we have a high, we have a low, we have a higher high, we have a higher low. We have a higher high, we have a higher low, we have an equal high. The equal high is where we're getting messed up. The equal high is showing the possibility of a trend change. So where are we right now? Higher low. We need to make a higher high to continue the trend forwards. If we make a lower low, that is going to be short-term bearish and we are going to, have to reconsolidate. We're going to have to reaccumulate for a while. And that's going to take a lot longer than people are willing to wait for. And we may even have a drawdown back to 50 cents or something, a nice big psychological level as a result of a failure. So Cardano needs to move up. We need to have an up thrust. We need to kind of make a new high that is going to convince the market that everything is tickety-boo. And we can continue to the upside. Right now, we do not have a defined trend. We have two equal highs, and we have a higher low. So it's do or die. We don't have enough information to trade. I can't tell you strength on this because we're at a decision point. The market is bullish. That's the only thing I have to tell you. ETH, that's a little advanced. I don't do setups on ETH pairs just because there's not enough people looking at it, but you want to know that what you're doing in this market isn't a waste of time, and you want to know that any trade that you take is going to be better than holding the asset that you hold. So if you really like Ethereum and you want to know if it's a good idea to hold DOT, according to this chart, it is. It's a better idea to be holding DOT currently. DOT could start to come down from here, but when we look at the performance of DOT against Ethereum, and you took a trade in, if you traded some Ethereum for DOT, it was a good move. If you traded Ethereum for DOT anywhere in this area right here, it was a good idea. But I don't draw too much support and resistance because there's not enough market consensus. You want to look at the charts that everybody is looking at. Most people are looking at the US dollar chart. The Bitcoin whales are looking at the Bitcoin chart. There's not enough people looking at the Ethereum chart, in my opinion. But you can absolutely use these charts to measure strength against one of your trades. Cardano has been sideways for a month now, bruh. Yeah, just wait another 5. 3 to 5 more. Reaccumulations take a long time. And if we head to the downside, you're going to be waiting 6 months. That's why you don't FOMO into stuff. Look at the charts. Love the feed. Join VIP, learning a lot from your streams. Thank you from Canada. Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate that. Fellow Canadian. Whereabouts? East or west? Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't go near ADA at $1.20. Maybe if it goes sub 80. It's just in a no trend scenario right now. I would take it if it went low, and I would take it if it broke out personally. But you know, I don't need exposure to smart contract platforms. I have my exposure in smart contract platforms in the form of Ethereum. Yeah, RSR's got a lot of hype. I think that there are other protocols that are cool too. I don't know. We're all just tribal. My coin rules them all. I like M-Stable, but it's not performing as well as RSR. You know, this one's really simple, guys. It's trending in the right direction. Just keep it simple. We're in a parallel channel to the upside. Yeah, oops, wrong thing. You know, we don't need to be fancy all the time. It's very important to realize that TA is not a crystal ball and that it is a tool for you to make decisions. So when I look at this chart, when I look at the RSR chart, what do I see? I see a very clean ascending channel. There's a line. Oh, I'm on log. Forgot about that. There's a very clean line that we're following here. Well, it's a little less clean when we're on this chart. Log makes a difference, I guess. But we're inside of an ascending channel still. So if you get to the bottom of the channel, it's a good buy. We are starting to curl to the upside. It's getting a little bit more parabolic, but it's not, you know, it hasn't really started to go to its full momentum. And, you know, it's full, it hasn't gone full force yet. Okay. So, you know, I'll keep that one simple. I'm not going to, we're also on top of support here from the previous level. Struggling to hold that support currently, so maybe we do come down for a move to you know, a support line for the channel here, something like this. Maybe worst case scenario, something like that. So get a dip down to 6 cents, something like that. But yeah, RSR, it's trending in the right direction, slowly but surely. Aave is one that's had ripped. Aave ripped. When things rip, they need to reaccumulate for a very long time. We're still in a long-term accumulation on Aave. There's nothing new here. You know, we're going to continue to trade sideways in this one for a while. Let's go with kind of this area right here, and a rally up to that level. So, you know, we're in a sideways trading environment. We're going to dip below, we might dip above, but until we can get some strong commitments to the upside, Aave is not going anywhere. We're just going to keep accumulating with a current sideways bias. So that's good. At least we're not going down. You know, we're going sideways, so that's fine. Is Winnipeg east or west? I think you're in the middle. Isn't Winnipeg like the middle? Nice for scalps. LA to Mex. Hey, that's where I came from. I was living in LA for 3 years, just moved to Mexico. Well, thanks to crypto. Yeah, we got a pretty nice spread in here. I mean, if you're scalping, I think you're wasting your time in this market. We're in a bull market. Like, scalp the bear, scalp the sideways, don't scalp the bull. I mean, you're wasting your time. The compounding interest of having consistent 10, 15, 20% moves to the upside consistently over time is way better than any scalper can do. I'm telling you, like, play the swings. If you need to trade, if you feel that you need to trade, you know, go ahead and scalp just to keep yourself busy. But if you're not investing and holding long on good projects in this environment, well, you'll realize that you missed out when we get to the top. What is your view on IDOs? Are they something you entered much of in the past, or are most boost initial release and then shit the bed and die? Most new coins, most of the crypto market is garbage. You know, they're all copycats. They're not doing anything different. You know, we kind of get lost in this comparison of looking at crypto assets like other assets like stocks, but cryptocurrency is a network and it has many moving pieces, but we're all contributing to the same idea that is going to exist within the same network, more or less. Whether that is simply the Ethereum network or whatever the case may be, you know, there's only one internet that we use. So why does there have to be all these different blockchains? I believe in a future where all the blockchains are kind of consolidated down into servicing one another on the main network. For me, I think that main network is going to be Ethereum. But, you know, again, this is just my opinion, which is not worth much when you're looking at the rest of the assets in this market. But, you know, there are a lot of coins that are crap. So you can go and you can buy those coins and you can make money, but we're very much so in the speculation phase of the environment. The trading environment is very speculative. You know, you're selling the story, you're not selling the facts. The fact is, the only tried and true cryptocurrency that we have is Bitcoin. And that's just because there hasn't been enough time with the other ones to prove anything yet. I'm so close to saying that Ethereum is here to stay, but Ethereum's going to ETH 2.0. That's a new thing. That's a brand new thing that's completely untested. They're basically starting from scratch. The only one that has the faith of the world, the only one that the world has accepted as you know, something that's here to stay is Bitcoin. So, you know, we're going to have to wait. And while we wait, we can speculate. But 99% of these projects are going to go to zero. What ones are you holding? Ren showing sign of weakness. I don't know. Let's go take a look at Ren. So that's kind of an interesting. So Ren has hugely great fundamental value inside of this protocol. But do we need it going forwards in the future? Like right now, we have to wrap Bitcoin if we want to interact with a smart contract. Are we going to figure out a way where we don't need to do that? Are we going to figure out a second layer solution where Ethereum is built on top of the Bitcoin network or vice versa? Like we have no idea what the future holds for blockchain. So, you know, if we figure out a way that where we don't need to wrap Bitcoin, it's game over for these wrapping protocols like Ren. But for the meantime, for the right now, we need it. We need it big time. It's the only solution we have. Sign of weakness? I think not. No, we have this reaccumulation after decline. We're range bound in this condition. We had a little bit of an overbought here, a little bit of a spring. We're coming down for our test. So the test is really going to be where the demand starts to come in. You can see supply shot us back down. So we didn't test, you know. When you head for the top and you don't test, you never make it through. We have to come down and test. So we'll probably test somewhere around 85, 88, something like that cents. And then we'll develop support. When we develop support, then we can attempt to break out of the range. Until that happens, we are not ready to break out. So it's a downside move for now. But I think that the fundamentals currently in this cycle and for probably the years to come, there's definitely a use case for these protocols that wrap Bitcoin. Avegachi. Okay. Avegache. Why not? It sounds like the shittiest coin I've ever heard of in my life. But let's go take a look at it. Well, it's not very liquid. Not a lot of people use this thing, whatever it is. It's trending down, so that trend will continue until it doesn't. We have a tentative line of resistance, so this will continue to go down until it doesn't. As far as support, I mean, we don't have very good support anywhere. Nothing has firmly been. This is the problem with new coins. This is why I don't like new coins, is they're very hard to understand where the support is. And I need to know. I need to know where there's support. So we kind of have support here. Let's see if this holds. Let's see if this holds and we break out. Okay, so I've got time for one more chart or one more question, and then I got to jump into the virtual classroom. So for those who don't know, I have a cryptocurrency trading group. We post profitable setups daily, and we teach you how to trade. That's the biggest selling feature. You know, I'm not going to feed you setups, because what I care most about is your ability to manage your own wealth and manage your portfolio. So if you are the type of person that is going to be here a long time, and if you're the type of person that looks at this as more of an investment style than kind of a high frequency trading style, then I encourage you to join VIP. We have a ton of on-demand educational videos. We do the virtual classroom, which I am about to jump into now. That is 3 days a week, where we go and look at your charts and dissect your trading ideas. Along with that, as well as we have a huge community, well, not huge, we have a good community of traders that are learning how to trade this market every single day and coming away pretty profitable for the most part. So if that's the kind of stuff that interests you and you want to educate yourself and learn how to, invest in this market, cycle over cycle over cycle, and build wealth over time, links down in the description below. So that's all the time I've got for today. I'm going to look at one more chart, and then I got to hop into the virtual classroom, and man, I got to set that up. So I've only got a little bit of time here. So if you're holding, maybe I'll answer a few questions. If we're holding our favorite projects during the bull market, is it wise to stake our favorite projects and gain interest as well? I like to be liquid. I like to be able to move my assets around in a moment's notice, because especially if your staking involves a lock, I am not locking anything in anything. I want to have custody of my tokens. I don't care about the minuscule amount of interest that comes lending in a bull market. When we're in a bear market, I'm going to be doing some lending for sure. Passive income, keep things simple, have money coming in, keep it simple, offer the tokens to lend. But as far as staking and, locking stuff up and trying to get, we're in a bull market. Are you really going to lock up your liquidity so that you can get an extra 6% at the end? Don't bother, in my opinion. I wouldn't bother. Last question. Can I consider you as a whale? Are you a big fish? I'm not a whale. I don't have 1,000 Bitcoin. That'd be cool. But yeah, no. If I did, this would be a very different channel. I would be telling you what I was doing, and that's it. I wouldn't need to interpret anything, because I would be the whale. Okay. Definitely join the group. It's epic. So valuable. It's been great for me. Awesome. I'm glad you're enjoying it. 9CB, CB3. Yeah, moving averages can be a good way to trade. ETH, BTC, BNB, XRP. Yeah, you got some nice momentum in there. ETH is kind of lagging, but hey. 275% APR. So how is that sustainable? You know, that's not something that I would stake. It's not sustainable. It's not gonna. It's either not going to last, or you know, I'm not interested in that. There's too much. DeFi is so new. DeFi is like these sketchy, like, imagine like DeFi is just like a popsicle sculpture, popsicle stick sculpture. You ever make those in school where it's just this shitty like box put together with Elmer's glue and popsicle sticks? Like, it is such a delicate piece of shit right now. And you're gonna put thousands of dollars into that thing? I think not. DeFi is incredible. It's going to change the world. It's revolutionary technology, but it is not ready yet. It is not ready yet. Okay, so yeah, we'll take a look at where did it go? Where did it go? Kazuma? I think it was Kazuma. Yeah, Kazuma. What is the ticker on that one? KSM. Oh, nice buyback on this one. Nice buyback. Peace soup. I got 1K to invest today. What should I buy for a 50x? If anybody can tell you that and be right, send them my way. There are no answers, my friend. Trying to trade this market with the anticipation of a 50x is how you get wrecked. You have $1,000, go buy Bitcoin. Go buy Bitcoin and figure out things, because trying to get a 50x, you know, that's just bullshit YouTuber talk. All the YouTubers like 100x, buy this coin for the next 100x, buy it for a 50x, 10x. They're all full of shit. They haven't got a clue. They haven't got a clue. They might have a clue. The only clue that they have is that they know that if they make a thumbnail like that, people are going to click on it. YouTubers, they just consistently go down the list, and they try and find projects, and then they make videos about them, and they call them 100x projects. It's bullshit. You know, if you want to know what is going to 50x, it's going to be Bitcoin. You just got to wait a little bit longer. Okay, so we're sitting on support. Huge demand coming in on Kazuma. So this is looking good. This is a very nice tentative support range right here. You know, it's a little kind of uncertain here as to what happened with this up thrust, but we're sitting on top of support currently. If we throw a trading range on top of this, let's say that's kind of the change of character. It's really not clear. Yeah, the volume's not giving me much on this one. Yeah, so this is very much so just kind of, we're sitting on support. If this support doesn't hold, maybe the trading range is here. So this is a reaccumulation after decline type situation. So we might be, you could definitely, this looks like support. You could buy here. You could buy here and then wait for a move up and then campaign into this position. So you'd be buying at a higher price as well. And then if you got a break above, you could buy again. Huge spread on this, by the way, huge spread. We got a 13% spread on that. Yeah, but this demand right here is intense. Look at this tail on this. This level is being supported. It's being supported. This shakeout resulted in a very clean identification of demand. So this is support. You want to buy support. I'm not guaranteeing that support holds, but this looks very much so like support. Okay, so that is all the time I have for today. If you enjoyed this content, please leave it a like. Don't forget to subscribe. And if there are any projects that you would like me to take a look at, leave them in the comments down below. And until next time, please trade safe. It is a jungle out there. Peace.